We can go ahead and get started. So, hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well and ready for another exciting meeting as usual at the Future Leaders Gavel Club. My name is Claire, and it is an honor to be your current club president. And I would like to officially call this meeting to order. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of our guests, and we sincerely hope you all will enjoy and learn from this experience. The Future Leaders Gavel Club is a Toastmasters club open to middle and high school students, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Each meeting will have three parts. First is the prepared speech section. Second is the table topic section. And then finally is the evaluation section. And I'm not sure if we have some guests today, but if we do, I'll just go ahead and introduce a little more detail about each of those three sections and then what you guys can expect for today's meeting. So firstly, again, is the speech section. So that is when our members who have prepared their speeches will, of course, present their speech, and we'll get to listen to that. And then the second part is the table topics section where members and guests can participate to practice and improve your impromptu speaking skills. So usually our table topics master will ask some random questions, and then you guys will get 1 to 2 minutes to answer them. So if you are a guest joining us today, maybe expect that you may be called on, since we generally like to do that, just to call in our guests maybe for one question, and then just feel free to answer however you'd like. And then finally is the speech evaluation portion, and then the functionaries will also deliver their reports to help everyone enhance their public speaking skills. All right. And with that being said, first of all, I hope everyone greatly enjoyed the workshop last week by Devin. He did a wonderful job giving so much advice. So I hope everyone learned a lot from that. Additionally, we may announce future workshop speakers. I know we've been in contact with Selena, who I'm sure some of you should know from past meetings if you've been with us for a while, but she did a workshop before, and I think will actually be coming in next Wednesday, if that doesn't change. So if she's coming next Wednesday, hope everyone is excited about that, and she may just share a bit of her experiences in college, etc. So you guys can come prepared with any questions you have. Okay, and with that being said, I will pass it to the Toastmaster of the day, who is Michelle.
Thank you, Claire. And before I start the speech section of this meeting, I'm gonna do roll call real quick. And from the looks of it, we have everyone. But okay, so I'm doing two roles, and I see that we have some extra guests. So if anyone who doesn't have a role or is a guest who wants to try out a role, you can either try out for Toastmaster or Speech One Evaluator. So would anyone would like to try that? It's fine if you don't want to, though. Kara? Okay, wait, which role? Would you like the Toastmaster or Speech One Evaluator?
Um, Probably speech one evaluator.
Okay, then. Then I'll take the Toastmaster role. Let me change this real quick. Okay, now I will start the meeting. Okay, to start off with Devin's Speaker 1, Devin. Homework necessary? Take it away.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle, for introducing my speech. Homework? Necessary? What is one thing you, as a child, need to do every day? Not eating, sleeping, or playing, but doing homework. Have you ever wondered whether we really need homework and whether it is necessary? Well, the truth is that homework is not just busy work, it is a valuable tool for learning and personal growth. Now, allow me to show you why homework is good for you and truly important. According to Is Homework Important? What's School? Homework reinforces learning and develops essential life skills like responsibility and time management, while also promoting independent study. Students need homework to build self discipline and gain a broader range of knowledge. For example, they must learn to stop watching videos, playing video games, or doing other fun activities and focus on homework, or else they risk getting a zero in the gradebook, which I think no one here wants to get. Also, homework helps you learn much more than what's taught in class, things you would never have time to explore during school hours. These are things you discover on your own, which often makes the learning stick even better. Homework also strengthens your memory. When you review concepts at home, you're giving your brain a second chance to process the store and store the information before it fades away. Think of it as your last opportunity to prepare before crucial tests or finals, which I know no one likes. Sometimes you might not fully understand what you and your classmates are learning in class. In those cases, homework can help you catch up. For instance, when we learned those works cited formats in class, I might have forgotten it if I hadn't done the homework that day. Repeating it in my homework not only revised the skill, but also reminded me if of it in your mind. A memory refresh that came in handy later. The numbers speak for themselves. According to a survey by Education Week, 77% of students and more than 80% of teachers and parents say homework is important or very important. This shows that across different perspectives, whether you are learning, teaching, or guiding a child, homework is seen as a key piece of education. Of course, some people might say, but I already finished my classwork and remembered it. Sure, you might remember it for a week or a month, but by the time final exams arrive, those details could slip away. That's why I think of homework as my academic safety net. It keeps me prepared, not just in elementary school, but in middle school, high school, and even college. Skipping homework is like skipping practice before a big game. You're only making it harder for yourself when the real challenge comes. I felt that regret before, and it's really not fun. It's not about pleasing your teacher or making your parents happy. It's about building your own path to success. In conclusion, homework is one of the most essential and necessary routines for children and even adults who are still learning. If you find homework boring, start small. Each 30 minutes a day can save you years of catching up later. Homework is not just an assignment, it's an investment in your future, like what my dad always said. So grab your pencil, open your notebook, and remember, today's small efforts will make tomorrow much easier. Now, please, after this meeting, go finish your homework. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Michelle.
Thank you for that audacious speech about homework. And I'm sure the last message we all need, because I'm sure not all of us have completed all our homework on time. Next, for speaker 2, we have Henry, I believe.
Wait, what's a speech?
A speech is basically where you talk about you pick a topic and then you speak about the topic for at least like 5 minutes. It's like kind of the stuff you write in school in middle school.
I wasn't notified. I don't have a speech right now.
That's okay. If you don't have a speech, I think we could move on to the table topics section of the meeting, right?
Yeah, sure.
Before we move on, so just to clarify, for future purposes, so Henry, do you normally receive our emails with like the agenda link?
Yeah.
Okay, so before each meeting, I suggest you click on the link, and then in the link you will see the names of all the people who will have the roles, who will be like functionaries, who will be doing the speeches. And I believe your name was on this week's agenda. That's totally fine. If you didn't know, it's probably unexpected. We can also reach out to some of our newer members in the future. Um, but Henry, maybe, so usually the first speech that you guys would start off with is called the icebreaker speech. So you can spend like 5 to 7 minutes literally talking about anything you want. So you can talk about yourself, maybe your hobbies, your interests. Some people have talked about like their life story, like from since they were younger until now. It can be of a topic of interest, pretty much anything you want. As a challenge to yourself, do you maybe want to do like an impromptu speech for maybe about like 5 minutes?
Mm,
If you don't want to, no pressure at all. We can also move on. Okay, no worries. Henry, if you want to do a future speech, you can always like email us, let us know. But yeah, we can move on to the table topics section. So Michelle, I'll pass it on back to you.
All right, thank you, Claire. And now I will be passing this section of the meeting to Janya.
Thank you, Michelle. So, but the fact is that I woke up late today because I slept late yesterday because I couldn't fall asleep. But I also was lazy to create table topics, so I basically put on random hobbies, and it's kind of embarrassing to say that I was too lazy to make table topics today, but um. I did it as the same way that I've done last time so it's basically like I'm gonna post a few hobbies in the chat box, and then you can select one of them and talk about them basically. And anything about the hobby. And I'll be posting the hobby list in the chat box in a second. So is there any volunteers that want to go first? Oh, Selena, do you want to go first? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so my hobby is the knitting and crocheting one. So I do crocheting a lot, but the story of how I started, it's kind of funny. So my grandma crochets like a lot of the time and knits. So I tried to follow her. I tried to go to do the popular Woobles things. Well, of course, I bought a fake one and it absolutely did not work. So I just decided to quit. Then, like a year or so later, my friend is like, "Oh, I just started up crocheting. I heard?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I crochet too." But the reality was, I barely crocheted, and I knew about half of the things that crocheting. And she said, "Oh, we should crochet sometimes together." So now I was under time pressure. I so the very next day I came back from school, ran ran to my room, grabbed a box of forgotten crochet supplies, and started actually trying to figure it out. And you know what? It turned out became a lot better at crocheting. And it the reason why I found it very funny was because I said a lie, and that kind of forced me into making it into a truth. And now it turned out for her birthday, I made her a sweater. So things work out.
Thank you, Selena. And I think crochet is really cool because, like, knowing how to crochet is really cool because all my friends know it, and I'm the only one who does it, and it always makes me like I don't know. It's just kind of sad that I don't know how to crochet, and everybody around me knows. But yeah. Any other volunteers that want to go?
Wait, I'm sorry, Janya. What should we talk about again?
I sent a list of hobbies in the chat box. I can resend it. Or can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can just pick one of the hobbies and then talk anything about the hobby.
Can we talk about a hobby other than what you provide?
I guess. I mean, if you want to, sure.
Okay, so my hobby is playing soccer because it's more than just a sport. It's my way of staying active, like building teamwork and challenging myself. Always on the field, I get to work with others toward a common goal, and every game I feel relieved. It's always teach me something new about communication and predicting, and I always predict. So I play by practicing my footwork, improving my pathing and shooting, and keeping myself fit, which I'm not basically. But most importantly, I play because it's fun. The rush of chasing the ball, like the exciting of scoring, and the joy of sharing those moments, really makes this sports more engaging. And my friends love to play basketball, which sometimes I hate, because why not soccer? We got Ronaldo, we got those amazing soccer players. So always remember when playing soccer, so thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Devin. And soccer is so much fun than basketball, and I totally agree. Moving on. Any other volunteers, or I can select a person? Okay, Natasha, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I also wanted to let you know, I think I saw in the chat, it got buried a little bit, but Henry, you seem to be interested in going, so maybe you can go after me. The hobby I will be talking about is reading. So this is obviously one of the most popular, I think, hobbies that has been around for a while, and many people like it. But I think the way people go about doing it can be changed for a lot of reasons. I would say that a lot of people read books that are very fun and stylistically easier, things that are usually listed as young adult, so like Keeper of the Lost Cities or things like that. And no hate to anybody who enjoys those books. They can definitely be very fun to read in your free time. But there are a few things that I think, especially after taking a writing class, I have learned about reading that have helped me to appreciate even more books, and some maybe more boring or difficult books that people don't normally enjoy as a pastime. They mostly consider them just like school books, required reading list books. So these three things are the style, the skill, and I had a third one, but I kind of forgot. I'm going to try to remember it on the way. Okay, so first one is the style. I think there were so many styles that I did not know anything about until I had taken this writing class and really saw what it takes to create a consistent style that lasts through an entire book or entire series like Lord of the Rings. So after taking that class, I was able to appreciate books like Lord of the Rings much, much more. The second thing was I forget what I said, but now I remember the third one. So symbolism was my third one. I think a lot of people overlook the symbols in writing, even if they're not supposed to be there stated explicitly by the author. A lot of the times there's symbolism that you can find on your own inferred in the text, and I think that's very important to look for when you are reading, even if the book seems to be boring or just difficult to read. So if you adopt these, I guarantee you will be able to appreciate more books than you ever thought possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. That was a really detailed explanation about books. Moving on, any more volunteers? Oh wait.
Hey, so
I yeah.
I wanted to do one on reading.
You could redo it, I guess.
What?
Do you want to do the same
I'm saying
thing?
for table topics, I meant.
Yeah, so
I want to talk about reading.
okay. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. So sometimes people ask me, why do you even read? Well, the reason I do that is because I just feel like sitting in bed with a book alone is much more relaxing. It's much more relaxing than, say, sitting in front of a computer screen or scrolling on social media. Also, due to my love of reading, I've accumulated a lot of information from many book series, and overall just feel wiser somehow. Honestly, for what it's worth, reading's great.
Thank you, Henry. That was great. Any other? Or did I miss any chat in anything in the chat box? Or you can select one. Anyone. Kara, do you want to go?
Sure, I can go. I'll talk about, I guess I'll talk about photography. Okay. Photography is a very recent hobby that I've gotten into due to my recent trip to China. Initially, I was in a film class where I learned a lot about how cameras work and about how to frame subjects. So through that, I began to really want a camera of my own, especially after going on a trip to the beach with some friends where we all took a lot of pictures, and the person with a digicam had some really good looking ones. So after that, I decided to ask around for a camera, and my parents didn't really want to buy one yet because they're pretty expensive, but I was able to borrow one from my aunt for my trip to China. So I borrowed that, and it was a Canon PowerShot, and it was a very good camera, and I enjoyed taking pictures a lot during the trip, and I found that a lot of the skills I learned from film transfer over. So I think that photography is really cool, and it's a really good way to capture memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Eliana, do you want to go?
Sure. Some reason my top 4 hobbies are in the top 5 of the list. Let's see. I'll do playing a musical instrument. So I play violin and piano, and they're they both started off as hobbies, but now that I'm getting more serious and I've been playing them for a long time, I think they've moved on past just being hobbies and more like something I just do, especially for violin, because I'm doing a lot of orchestras and I'm doing chamber music, but I do like doing more with the violin and not just playing it for fun, because I do like practicing, and um when I play it, it brings me a lot of joy. But for the piano, piano might just stay a hobby for me because I don't like it as much as violin, but it's good to have both. So while I might go farther on violin, piano might just stay a hobby. Thank you, and back to you, Janya.
Thank you, Eliana. Anyone else want to volunteer?
I can go again.
If you want to, then of course. The floor is yours.
So, my hobby is writing, and this is something that like almost everybody does. Everybody normally has writing class unless you took a break from it or something, because writing is one of those essential things. You needed to write a letter, you needed to write a good essay, you needed to get into college, and writing is just really important. My connection with writing is a lot bigger than just from the school verse. I write for contests, and these aren't like the contests where you write a book and then they select you. These are more like the contests that they give you a prompt and you have to write to. Now, a lot of people find contest writing fun. The only problem is I don't really. The fun part was actually getting to write it and then realizing that, oh, yay, I actually got in, I got published. But the not so fun part was editing. Editing was like a pet peeve for me. It's like one of those things that you wish you could just whisk away, but no, you couldn't. I'm sorry to say, but it involved a lot of rage quitting. Rage quitting from realizing that I had to redo it. And the awesome part was that you had to give it in as a PDF. It's safe to say that my desktop is full of files. It's all because for one single page, all because every single time I make one little change, I have to create a whole new PDF, name it a whole new different name, and then finally you can submit it in. Do I think it's all worth it? Of course. Did I think it was all worth it while I was editing? No. But writing is an amazing hobby, and I think it's great, but editing is just a part that I just really dislike. And that's all.
Thank you, Selena. And I think Caleb said he wanted to go next, right? Caleb, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Janya. For me, it is evident that language learning is a hobby of mine. I have been learning Spanish since I was born, Mandarin since I was 5 and American Sign Language for many, many years now. And let me tell you something. Language learning is hard. There is no easy way to language learning that is not time-consuming, that does not require lots of effort. But to tell you the truth, language learning eventually does pay off. For example, these past 2 weeks, I was on vacation. And at one of the particular places I was visiting on a tour, there was someone who was deaf. And I started to interpret for them. And I'm going to be honest with all of you, my ASL interpreting skills are not phenomenal. I have friends who can interpret incredibly well. But this person whom I was interpreting to was understanding some of the things that were happening in the tour, and I felt very fulfilled. But of course, it showed me that I still have a lot more to learn in American Sign Language. On the other hand, Mandarin. I have worked tirelessly on conquering this Chinese language, and I'm getting very, very close. I had so many fun experiences this past week just showing off my Mandarin skills. For example, upon my flight landing at the airport, since there was just people were getting off and it takes time to unload from the plane, behind me was someone who was speaking Mandarin. So guess what I did? I turned around and I said, "Oh, 你是从哪里来的?" And they were so surprised. But we went on. I learned that he was a research student who was actually from China and was going to be entering a university that fall. And then at another point in the tour, I was at a tour and there was a family obviously from China sitting right next to me. So I just went and asked them, "Oh, 你们是从哪里来的?" "Oh, 他们是从上海来的." But the funniest part for me and the most fulfilling part is just the shock on their faces. Like, how did you learn Mandarin? And the last experience that was so much fun for me is an Uber driver. We use a lot of Uber, and this particular Uber driver showed up, picked us up, and he was notably Chinese. And so I began to speak to him in Mandarin. And he was so impressed. And he told me that he is actually a linguistics professor at a university. And it was just a lot of fun to be able to communicate in Mandarin with a linguistics professor at a very, very high level. But it takes a lot of work. Yet the fruits of that work are really in the ability to be able to communicate with others who are not like you, others from foreign lands and places, and being able to create an understanding and bridge knowledge gaps between that. So I encourage all of you to keep learning language. Thank you, and back to you, Janya.
Thank you, Caleb. And I think language learning is the hardest part. And I'm struggling with 3, but try to learn more. Oh, Claire, you wanna go?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Janya. The hobby that I will choose is fishing. They say patience is a virtue, but they never told me that patient could also mean standing on a bridge for 5 hours waiting for fish just to have them all collectively ignore you. Before COVID, my dad used to take me a lot to this dam where we would often go fishing because that was one of his very interesting hobbies. So we'd get there, we'd drive early morning at 10 a.m. with rods in hands and snacks and water. And then we'd quickly rush down to the water to set up the fishing equipment. Of course, sometimes the fish would cooperate. We'd have lots of fish for the day, and it was a miracle. But of course, there's also the downside where you'd have to wait for hours, but without any fish. So one day, after hours of trying and still no fish that we could collect, my dad smiled and he said a quote, something like, "Even if you fish and you catch nothing, you still have caught a lesson and maybe a memory or two. And maybe that is why I have remembered those fishing memories so fondly, whether it was the scorching hot playground next to the dam where I would play on, or the dogs that would chase me as a little kid and I would run away screaming as if they were monsters, or simply walking on the bridge, enjoying the nice, peaceful air all the way from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. So I hope that all of you are able to find your own catch or your own memory in life where you're able to, even if you aren't able to catch a fish or your intended outcome, maybe you have caught a lesson or something valuable in return. Thank you, and back to you, Janya.
Thank you, Claire. That was great. Um, is there anybody else? Angelina or Michelle? Michelle's not here. Oh wait.
Janya, you can also maybe call on one of our guests. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. Amelia? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Would you wanna do you wanna take a try?
Sure.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Wait, what's the topic?
So there's a list of hobbies that you can select from, and then just talk about the hobby, any one of the hobbies. I can resend the list.
Okay, thank you.
It's in the chat box.
My favorite hobby is probably painting and drawing. In my opinion, I've always done art competitions, which recently I did one of the major art competitions, which hopefully y'all heard of. It's called VAS, or is it VASE? It's one of this major art competitions around Texas. I got into the art competition, but sadly I got disqualified because my picture was too much like my drawing. But there's always other chances. And I really enjoy painting and drawing because you have the creativity to draw and paint things with your own imagination. You can paint realism, cartoon, sketch, anything you would like and desire for art. Art is fun for everyone, in my opinion. Art is really fun, and you can draw anything you would like. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. And I think art is fun too. But I remember the last time I drew my something. I think it was an apple, and it looked a little wonky, but um, it's okay. I can get better at art. Jefferson, do you want to go? Are you here? Mm. Yeah, for sure. I can call someone else in that time. Andrew, do you want to go? Uh, Serena, do you want to go? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't notice. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I can try.
Good. The floor. Yeah.
The hobby I'm going to choose is cooking or baking. Um, at a young age, I always watch my mom cook, and it always seems so easy because it just looks like a bunch of mixing, baking, and putting it into a pot. Well, it doesn't seem as easy as it was because of this one time where I was at my friend's house and we were hungry and it was lunchtime, so we decided to make strawberry pancakes. But it didn't turn out so well because we didn't have any instructions except some words on this box with the pancake mix in it. So we thought you just cracked an egg, put in the flour, mixed it together, and dumped it into a pot. But we didn't realize how many details we had to think about, like turning on the fire to a certain level or making sure it doesn't burn and like turn black. Well, unfortunately, the pancakes were turning black because we didn't know how to control it. And one after the another, we couldn't make a perfect one. So after all the experiences of cooking with my friends or my siblings, it turns out that cooking is much harder than it seems. And it's not just as simple as it looks. So the next time you try to cook, maybe maybe spend your time and look at the directions and then cook. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Serena. And it's really hard to not burn food because my mom sometimes burns food. And my mom's last name is Bogula, which means coal in our language. So whenever my mom burns food, we make fun of her last name and then we'd be like, it's in your name. But it's just a small memory. Oh yeah, Anthony, any of the guests that want to go? Anthony, are you here? And if not, Jefferson, do you think you're ready now? Hmm. Okay. Um, I think you have to say it. Uh, um, you got this. No pressure. Okay, yeah. Okay. Um, anybody want to redo it? Or Angelina, are you here? You want to go?
Yeah, I can give a short table topics. So I also choose fishing just because my dad also really likes to fish. So I don't know if it's a coincidence or something, but my dad really enjoys fishing, and ever since I was little, I would remember him taking me to a lot of different places, some even 2 to 3 hours away just to go fishing for a day. And to me personally, I have a lot of fond memories of fishing with him, and through fishing, I've also learned a lot of different skills, most importantly, patience, and also how to actually take care of the fish when you actually get them. Because that was something that I struggled with. And personally, fishing just holds a lot of memories for me. So I really enjoy fishing as a hobby because whenever I do it, I am reminded of the time that I spent with my dad.
Oh, thank you, Angelina. And I think it's time, but Jefferson, if you want to go, maybe one last person. Jefferson, are you ready now? No pressure, just whatever comes into your head.
hobby is video games. So, I play video games, well, not that much because my parents don't allow me to. And then, the video games it's very relaxing and fun. Then, sometimes I can meet my friends online and chat with them and play with them and stuff. I'm most ready to play video games after a stressful day of school and some very, very boring homework. Sometimes I just play on the bus. I mean, I'm in middle school now, so and I'm a bus rider. Well, most of the time, so I just take my phone onto the bus and just play video games. I play Roblox, and then I have a lot of friends who also play Roblox. So sometimes I can make friends by just talking to them about Roblox, and then, hey, you play this game, I play this game too. Let's be friends. And then um I go to Coal Valley Middle School, and then since now we're not allowed to use phones in school, we used to be allowed to use phone in school in elementary school, where we would in recess, indoor recess sometimes, we could take out our own devices or get a laptop from the computer cart and play on it. So yeah, I love to play video games. It's really one of my hobbies. And if any of you guys here play Roblox, I can friend you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jefferson. And video games are so fun that I could even get scolded just to play some video games. But yeah, I think it's time now. I pass it back to Michelle.
Thank you, Janya. And now I will be passing this to the general evaluator of this meeting tonight, which is Eliana. So take it away. My bad.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle. To begin, I will be calling on speech evaluator 1, who is Kara.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Devin, you had a great speech about the value of doing homework. I think that over the course of your speech, you had great delivery and great writing as well. First, I will begin by talking about some of your strengths, and afterward, I will move on to some things that you could improve. First of all, I think one of your best strengths in this speech was your vocal variety. I really liked how you delivered the sentence, think of it as your last opportunity to prepare before tests and finals, and then you tagged on, which I know nobody likes, in a much lower tone, and this really made it more comedic and engaging. I also really liked your confidence throughout the speech, and the way that you were very expressive throughout. Finally, I liked the way that you wrote your speech, including your focus on how the homework benefits the person who does it, rather than focusing on how your parents or your teacher might want you to complete it. And I liked that you ended with some practical advice about starting small. For some improvements that I would like to see in the future, I noticed that you were sitting on a swivel chair, and this caused you to rock back and forth fairly often throughout your speech. So I would suggest changing it out for a different chair, or even standing up while you're giving a speech. Another part that I noticed was when you said, "I've felt that regret before," somewhere near the end of your speech. That made me really curious to learn more about your regret, and I wanted to learn about some personal anecdotes and stories about your experience with homework. So to summarize, I liked your vocal variety and confidence, and your speech's focus and practicality. And in the future, it would be better if you adjusted the way you sit and if you added more anecdotes. Congrats overall on a great speech. It was very informative and inspiring. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kara. Now since we didn't have a second speech, I'll move on to the functionaries. So let's see, the odd counter, who is Selena, take it away.
Okay, I don't think I said the all counter thing at the start, but I'll say it really quickly now. As the all counter, I will know words and sounds used as crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, sounds may be er. So, I apologize if I may have skipped anybody. If I did skip you, that's probably because I didn't hear anything that was like a pause filler or interjections. Speech, Devin, speech one. There was a pause that may have been excessively long. It was in the right place, but I think you dragged it out a little bit. Table topics. I had one and one pause. Devin had, I believe, two ands and one so. Natasha had two pauses. Henry had four pauses. Eliana had maybe one but and two pauses. Caleb had maybe an and, maybe I heard it wrong. Amelia had two ands, one and two pauses. And Jefferson had one and two pauses. And I don't believe anybody else made any notable pauses or interjections. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Selena. On to the grammarian, who is Angelina.
Thank you, Eliana. So I was kind of distracted today, so I might have skipped a few table topics. But overall, I think everyone did really well today, and I didn't hear that much usage of bad grammar. So first, for the Toastmaster of today, Michelle, I heard her use the word of the day once, which was the only usage that I heard throughout the entire meeting. So for speaker one, Devin, I didn't catch any good phrasing or awkward grammar. For table topics, Master Janya, I didn't catch anything either. For table topic speaker one, Selena, I didn't have anything. For speaker two, Devin, I liked when you said soccer is more than just a sport. And you also said the rush of chasing the ball, the excitement of scoring, and the joy of sharing the moment, which was a really good phrase. I didn't catch anything for Natasha, and for Henry, I liked when you said I've accumulated a lot of information from the book series. For Kara, I didn't catch anything. For Eliana, I like how you said they both started off as hobbies, but now they've moved past just being hobbies. For Selena second, for her second speech, I didn't hear anything. For Caleb, I liked when you said there's nothing easy about learning a language. It's hard and time consuming, but eventually it pays off. And for Claire, I liked when you said, they say patience is a virtue, but they never told me that patient could mean standing on a bridge for 5 hours waiting for a fish just for them to collectively ignore you. That was really humorous. And I didn't catch anything for Amelia or Serena. And for Jefferson, I liked the phrase, I'm most ready to play video games after a stressful day of school and some very, very boring homework. So that's my report for today, and I apologize if I skipped you. Thank you, back to you, Leon.
Thank you, Angelina. Now for the timers report by Caleb.
Thank you, Eliana. For Devin, speaker 1, you had a time of 4 minutes and 45 seconds, which is within the time. For table topics, Selena, 1 minute and 29 seconds. Devin, 1 minute and 27 seconds. Natasha, 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Henry, 1 minute and 14 seconds. Kara, 1 minute and 31 seconds. Eliana, 1 minute and 31 seconds. Selena, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Caleb, 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Claire, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Amelia, 1 minute and 3 seconds. Serena, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Angelina, 1 minute. Jefferson, 1 minute and 31 seconds. And for the evaluation portion, evaluator 1, Kara, 2 minutes and 28 seconds. All counter Selena, 1 minute and 15 seconds. And Angelina, 2 minutes. Congratulations on everyone for being within the time today, except for me. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator Eliana.
Thank you, Caleb. Let's see. Okay. Now I will be giving my general evaluation of this meeting. So we had a great speech in the beginning about homework that I'm sure really inspired us all. And although we didn't have a second speech, we had a really great table topics where we all spoke about our different hobbies, and I'm glad we got to do that. Everything else ran pretty smoothly, and I don't think anything out of the ordinary happened besides that. That's all. And so back to you, Toastmaster.
Oh shoot, sorry. Sorry, I was supposed to pass it down to Claire. My bad. Anyways, back to the presiding officer, Claire.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And thank you everyone for a wonderful meeting. As always, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's meeting. Again, as I stated at the start of tonight's meeting, next Wednesday on August 20th should be Selena's workshop. So I believe she recently graduated from NYU. Some of you may know her from the past workshop she presented at FLGC, but if not, you will get to know more about her next week and probably in the agenda email. And if you guys have any questions about her college life or experiences, anything related to that and what she's doing, I'm sure she would be more than happy to share so you guys can maybe come prepared for next week's workshop as well. And I know in one of our previous meetings, you guys did share some potential workshops that you would be interested in. So I will continue to look into those. And if you guys have any other ideas or inputs, you're free to mention anytime, like right now, or you can always email us to let us know as well. Okay, are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, if not, thank you everyone for a great and smooth meeting as always. And we are on time today. So great job everyone for a successful meeting. And we hope to see you next week during Selena's workshop. All right.